Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, I watched as much as I could of the House hearings on Planned Parenthood. And I hope that as many women as possible watch that hearings, because I think it's important for women, even Republican women, to see just exactly where the Republicans are at. Now, Cecile Richards, who's the, I believe, president or CEO, whatever, of Planned Parenthood, handled herself like a pro. The Republican strategy was to ask her questions and then constantly interrupt her answers so that the truth wouldn't come out. But there were several times when she made them look like idiots by forcing the truth out. They talked a lot about her compensation, which is a little bit over $500,000, which, if you take a look at CEO pay these days, that's pretty much at the low end of the spectrum. She pointed out, in answer, Cecile Richards, that is, pointed out several facts in response to deceptive questions. For example, that Planned Parenthood does not get a check from the government. Like hospitals and other health providers, they receive compensation for services they provide. So, for example, if somebody comes in and gets an HIV test, Planned Parenthood will then bill, say, Medicaid for that service. So, when one of the GOP congressmen compared the funding of Planned Parenthood to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Now, that's a good organization. And I don't mind that the Boys and Girls Clubs of America does get some federal funding. But the last I checked, they didn't provide health care for anybody. And several Republicans talked about how many alternatives there are to Planned Parenthood, which is absolute bullshit. A lot of those so-called alternatives don't provide anywhere near the range of services that Planned Parenthood provides. And don't forget, in the red states, there are very, very few women's health clinics because the Republicans there closed them down. And they refuse to expand Medicaid. So, in most of the red states, Planned Parenthood is the only game in town. But what's really telling about these hearings is this. They were sparked by a fraudulent video released by an anti-abortion group. And you would think that if the Republicans were interested in the truth, they would have invited the makers of the video to testify, if they had nothing to be afraid of. The Democrats on the committee pushed for that, but the Republicans blocked it because they didn't want those people up there under oath being forced to testify that their video was a fraud. This would have been very embarrassing to the Republicans to have to face the fact that everything they're doing is based on a lie. Thanks for listening.